cavity with a well-defined margin. Before and after administration of contrast medium, the density of the lesion NCT is homogeneous. So A, B, C, and E are correct. According to the CT imaging, what is your diagnosis? These are the HE stained light microscopic images of this patient specimen. We can see the tubulovenous structure. The histopathological diagnosis is coronal tubulovenous adenoma. So the correct answer is C, colon adenoma. Colorectal adenoma is the precursor of colorectal cancer. Half of the patients have no symptom, and the diagnosis on screening examination for patients under 60, more than 15% lesions are in the distal colon. Well, for those over 60, the lesions are often in proximal colon. According to the venous architecture of the tissue under the microscope, the lesion can be divided into tubuloadenoma, tubulovenous adenoma, and venous adenoma. The lesion size is very important biomarker, according to which the lesion can be divided into three categories, namely diminutive, small and larger. If the lesion is larger than 10 millimeters, its clinical significance should be noted. However, there are several conditions we should also pay attention to. Even if the lesion is less than 10 millimeters. For example, when it contains more than 25% of venous structure or high-grade dispersion or cancerous focal, it is also of clinical significance. On CT scan, the lesion of colorectal adenoma are cauliflower-like nodular or lobulated masses with well-defined margin and homogeneous density before and after administration of contrast medium. We can also see that the lesion protrudes into the colon cavity. It's connected with the intestinal wall by the petrol, and the blood vessels are located in the center of the lesions. These vessels. Case 2 is a 53-year-old man who had abdominal pain and distension for 20 days and subsequently presented with vomiting. His laboratory examination revealed the increase in CA242 and CA. According to the pre-contrast and the post-contrast CT, the reformatic coronal imaging, which following statements are true. We can find the mass in the ascending canal and the distension of proximal bulb of the bowel, like this one, which will support the mechanical intestinal obstruction. Axial and reformatic coronal CT images demonstrate the heterogeneous enhancement, which invited into colorectal tissue. We can see enlarged lymph node on the mesenteric side with heterogeneous enhancement. And this is the lymph node with heterogeneous enhancement. The pathological T and M stage of this patient is T3N1B. The tumor invites through the muscularis propria into the chronic tissue. Because he had 3 lymph node metastatic, so is N1E. Colorectal cancer is the third most commonly diagnosed cancer in males and secondly in female, with estimated 1 million cases and 693,900 deaths occurring in 2012. Despite the wide availability of screening and surveillance programs, approximately 20% of colorectal cancers are disseminated at the time of diagnosis. The findings of colorectal cancer include irregular thickening of intestinal wall, stenosis of lobes, or intestinal dilation with intestinal obstruction, heterogeneously enhanced lesion, and metastatic lymph nodes. Major advancement in the treatment of rectal cancer include total mesorectalization, simplified as TME, neoadjuvant radiotherapy, and chemotherapy. MRI is the most accurate tool for the local staging of rectal cancer and is a powerful tool to select the appropriate treatment. The decision whether a patient with rectal cancer is a candidate for TME, any or neoadjuvant therapy followed by TME is made according to the finding of MRI. The tumor stages are from T1 to T4B. T1 and T2 tumors are leading to the bowel wall, muscularis propria, peritoneal flexion, and so on. These are very important anatomy markers for the staging. For example, if the tumor involves the peritoneal flexion, it means T4B, T4A. We must pay attention to some basic facts. MRI is unable to distinguish between tumor extension into mucosa, submucosa, muscularis propria, and therefore cannot be differentiated between tumor in situ, T1 and T2 stage tumors. Although T1 tumor can be treated with local excision, the treatment of choice in both T1 and T2 tumors are TME. And if there is a preference for local excision through transanal endoscopy, surgery, and microscopy, endorectal ultrasound can be helpful because it sometimes can be differentiated between T1 and T2 tumors. Key findings in T1 and T2 rectal tumors is intact external muscularis, which identified as hyperintensity is the line around the rectum. T3 is the growth through the external muscle into the surrounding mesorectum. As the rectum does not contain several layers, the tumor invites directly into the mesorectal factor. and it can be spread to the lymph node and beyond. Difficult is distinguish two resurrected tumor invasion from desmoplastic reaction is the main cause of overstated horror. To prevent the understatement, it is recommended to staging a tumor as T3 when staging is present. Here we can see two patients. This patient, the tumor, this patient is the tumor is divided prerectal tissues, and this for this patient we can see the shredding, but the tumor is only limited in the bowel wall. So this patient is only the T2. In the description of T3 tumors, the report should include the short distance between the tumor margin and the mesorectal fashion, simplified as MRF. We must to pay attention to the distance, the tumor between these lines. When the tumor invades the peritoneal fraction, it stage as T4A, like this one. The T4B tumor invades the surrounding structure, such as the pelvic wall, the vagina, prostate, bladder, and all the seminal viscera. According to the number of suspicious lymph node, N1, N0, N1, N2 will be staged, as we know if the short axis of lymph node is over 9 millimeters. The invasion is always suspicious. If the lymph node is involved, the signal on MRI will be changed, and the fight at its health experience with irregular margin and the enlargement, like this one. Case 3 is a 44-year-old man who had blood in the stool for 1 month. His laboratory tests were normal. This image includes T2 image and the DWI and the dynamic scan, the pre-contrast and the post-contrast image. Question 1. What radiologic characteristic can you identify from this image? We can find a mass in the rectal cavity with the medial and slightly hypotense and T2 with the image and DWI. And with the heterogeneous enhancement, so what answers are correct? According to the image, which stage do you think is correct? The T2 is right. From this image, we can see that the rectal cancer lesion involves the muscular property but local rectal outer wall is clear and the partial layer of the hyperintensity rectal wall is still present. This layer is kept black. Based on the finding of endoscopic biopsy, high differentiated adenocarcinoma of the rectum was found. Since lesion was located very low, it's very low, and the patient required to retain the anus. Physician decided to affirm neoadjuvant chemoradiotherapy before the surgery of the MDT discussion. Question 3: what changes in the tumor have been found after neoadjuvant therapy? After neoadjuvant therapy, compared with the MRI before the treatment, the tumor volume reduced significantly, and the lesion signal and T2 wave image and DWI also decreased, which suggests fibrosis in the lesion. So all the answers are correct. This is the sample of the lesion specimen of the surgery. Histopathological biopsy showed no residual cancer cells in the local wall of the rectal cancer, so it was confirmed as a PCR, pathological completed recovery of the neoadjuvant therapy. According to the literature and our experience, MRI is useful to evaluate the lesion of CRC before and after neoadjuvant therapy. MR can effectively evaluate the reaction to the neoadjuvant therapy in patients with rectal cancer. For example, this patient TMS stage decreased from T4N1 to T2N0M0. Case 4 is a 38-year-old man who had difficulty in defecation and a low caliber stool for half a year. Biomarker tests were normal. Question 1. What radiologic characteristic can you identify from these images? We can see a mass in the rectum with well-defined margin. And the lobulated shape. On pre-contrast CT, this area is hypertensive. This area is hypertensive and show slightly enhanced on the post-contrast. So all the answers are correct. Question 2: what diagnosis were you chose? The pathological result confirmed of the operation is the cyst. And the histopathological study with the immunohistochemical staining, CD117 was strong positive, and the Ki67 positive, and the mitosis could be noted. 90% KIT mutations involve exon 11, and the CD117 is often positive. Gas is most common at the stomach, and the second common at the small bowel, but is uncommon and the rectum. End of ultrasound demonstrate the origin of the tumor from the muscularis corporea and the layer of the wall involved by the tumor. On CT or MRI, the well-defined mass in the rectum or esophageal growth has heterogeneous density before and after administration of contrast medium. Case 5 is a 79-year-old female with rectal mass for 2 months. His laboratory test were normal. We can see an erect lesion with the heterogeneous enhancement on CT MRI in this another just enhancement. This is also just no. From the annual inset edge 2.5 centimeter from the dentate line 0.5 centimeter also infiltrate mass was seen at the mucosa surface. According to the histopathological examination, this is the malignant melanoma in rectum. Anorectum is a rare site for primary melanoma. It is the aggressive cancer with poor progress. The diagnosis is often delayed due to no specific signs and symptoms at clinic. At CT, the tumor presents as a bulky intraluminal fugating mass without the rectal obstruction, which infiltrates into the perirectal tissue and has enlarged lymph node. The MRI features of the anorectal melanoma depending on the melanin content and the presence or absence of hemorrhage. The typical MRI signal of melanoma shows the certain specific hyperintensity on T1 weight imaging and hyperintensity on T2 weight imaging. It is mainly due to the paramagnetic effect of the